Hi guys, it's Marissa from Little House Living. I decided to do something a little different today and probably for the next couple weeks. You guys have kind of seen my overall garden if you've watched the first couple garden videos, and well, everything is growing okay. I'm not harvesting anything yet, so it's kind of boring. So I thought that I would stop and kind of focus on different areas of the garden instead and talk to you about what I'm doing in those specific areas, instead of making a video that's so long and just kind of encompasses everything. So today we're over here on the north edge of my garden, and this is kind of the little berry patch over here. I have berries in different parts of the garden and in a different garden altogether, but this is kind of the most concentrated area of berries in the garden. Over here I've got a bed of raspberries, and then behind me I've got a bed of strawberries, and right behind me is where I have a couple blueberry plants, and then there's a couple more random strawberries right up here. So when we moved in here, this bed of raspberries was already here. I would guess that they're maybe 2 or 3 years old. Raspberries grow really well here, so it's possible that they grew this quickly, that fast. I would guess maybe 3 years old. This is probably about their 3rd year. So they look pretty healthy. They got a little frozen at the beginning of May. We had a late it wasn't a late freeze for this area, but we had a freeze, and there was a lot of raspberries up, and so they turned black and the leaves all died. But obviously it didn't affect them too badly, and plenty more came up. It's really hard to weed in this bed because there's tiny little raspberries coming up all over the place from the roots, and so every time I weed I pull up raspberry plants and then I get sad, so I've just kind of given up, and I try to pull out the bad weeds if I see them, but otherwise I'm just kind of letting it go. Like I said, raspberries grow really well here. They actually grow wild out in the woods, so they adapt to this climate pretty well and are used to just growing wherever. So I've kind of just left that alone. Hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll start to see some blossoms and some berries. I do have actually I have 2 more raspberry patches right now in the garden. One is down to the south end, and that was raspberries that I planted this year, and they all look really good. Those are heritage red raspberries and a golden raspberry. These raspberries that are planted in here are the Latham red raspberries, and they're really nice. So next year I plan on getting more raspberries since they grow so well here and they need very little maintenance, and I'm going to put them in a different garden, and I'm going to get some more of the Latham red raspberries because they come up really nice here. So the heritage raspberries that I'm growing over there, they look okay. They're not the best. The golden raspberries look really nice, so I'll probably get some more of those too. And then, like I said, behind me here I've got a bed of strawberries. Those strawberries I planted this year. All of the berries that I bought, the raspberries and the strawberries, I got from Stark Brothers online, and I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. I've ordered from them for a couple years and been really happy with what I've gotten. The strawberries that I bought was a pack of 25, and I have 23 of them that have come up, and they all have blossoms on them. Some of them have strawberries already, and it's just the beginning of June, so they look really nice and I'm really happy with them. I'll definitely buy some more. I bought just one of those little packages of strawberry roots from Lowe's, and I planted it up here in the front part of this bed, and not a single one of them came up. So I'm definitely not wasting my money on that again. I'm going to go with this, and these strawberries weren't even that expensive. I think they were, I want to say $12.99 for a pack of 25, so that was pretty good, and they look really healthy. And then I planted 2 blueberry plants. I'm going to back up a little bit here. Planted 2 blueberry plants. These are both Northland blueberries. They're supposed to grow well in our climate. But blueberries don't grow well here because the soil is not acidic enough. So I'll have to do things to amend the soil a little bit to keep these healthy. I've done it successfully before, and it's really easier than you would think it is. So when I planted these, I put a whole bunch of peat moss in the hole with them. Peat moss is really acidic and adds acid to the soil. And then I mulched them. This is not a lot. I could add some more mulch in here, but this mulch is a pine needle and pine shavings mulch mix, which is also pretty acidic. So they seem to be happy so far with it. They're just completely loaded with blueberries. So they look really good this year. The real test will be what they look like next year and how they come up after being in the ground for a year. But like I said, I've had success with that, doing that so far. It's really simple, but it seems to add enough acid to the soil. Now this year I did buy something that I thought would help. I was going to show you guys. It's this from Eco Scraps. It says it's a berry plant food, and it says for blueberries and raspberry plants. It's not even been a week ago yet. Maybe a couple days ago I put this, it says you can add it to established plants, so you just kind of move the soil away and then add it around the plant. So I went ahead and I put it around the blueberry plants, and I put it around the strawberry plants, and I put it around the raspberry plants too. It doesn't specifically say for strawberries, but they're berries, so I thought, well, we will give it a shot and see if it works. But it's kind of funny because I've only had this on the plants for a couple days, and since then I've seen a whole bunch more blossoms pop up on the strawberries. Could just be coincidental, but I'm kind of hoping that this is really going to help, just because. And then there's a couple more strawberries over here. Those were already here when we got here. They look like nice established plants, although kind of random in this bed. Next year I want to add more strawberries up in this front part of this bed and just kind of fill it up a little bit. So that's kind of my berries for this year. Like I said, I do have some out in another garden, some more raspberries that I'm not sure. I don't think they're wild, but they're kind of random placement in the garden. I don't have strawberries anywhere else. I do have one blackberry plant that I'm trying to grow here. Again, it needs the acidic soil like the blueberries. So I used some of this, and then I did the same with the peat moss and the pine mulch around it to try to add more acid to the soil where it's at. The only other couple things I wanted to mention was we do have a lot of birds here, so as soon as these start producing berries, I'm going to want to do something to kind of cover them up. Probably some berry netting. I'm not sure yet how that's going to look. But the other thing that I was going to show you was this scare tape, and I bought this before. It helps with the birds and the deer, so if you have problems with those, you might want to check it out. It's really cheap. And this is my project for today, is to tie this to the outer fence of the garden to start kind of getting the birds out of here. We like the birds, and they're very pretty, and they make nice songs and stuff, but I don't want them to steal my strawberries. So we're just going to use a little bit of this scare tape. Like I said, it's just really cheap, and I will try to find links to both of these things so you can check them out too if you need them in your garden this year. But so this is my berry garden area for the year, and next week I'll show you a different section of the garden. If you have any questions, just let me know. Just ask in the comments and I will try to answer them. Otherwise, have a great week.